Let's start with a question. How well do you really know yourself at work? I'm not talking about your CV, your LinkedIn profile, or the titles you've held. I'm talking about the stuff behind the title, your blind spots, your strengths, your triggers, the way you respond under pressure, the way others experience you. Because here's the truth, no one tells you when you start climbing the ladder in the corporate world. The biggest barrier to your growth isn't always your skill set, your manager, or the organizational structure. Sometimes it's you, and more specifically, your lack of self awareness. Today, we're going to talk about what self awareness really means in a corporate environment, why it's not just a soft skill, but a career defining one. We'll also explore what happens when it's missing, how it shows up, and how it holds people back. And finally, I'll walk you through how to develop it intentionally, not by meditating on a mountain, but by tuning into your everyday behavior, your reactions, your patterns, and turning them into tools for growth. Sound good? Let's get into it. As always, let's start with the basics. Self awareness is your ability to see yourself clearly. It's about understanding your own emotions, behaviors, motives, and how they affect others. But in the corporate world, it goes deeper than that. It's about recognizing how you show up in meetings, how you react to feedback, how your presence makes others feel, whether they feel heard, ignored, or intimidated, and even how you perform under stress when no one's watching. Now, here's what's interesting. Most people think they're self aware, but studies show that only about 10-15% of people actually are. That's a massive gap. And in a corporate setting, that gap is costly because decisions, promotions, team dynamics, and leadership credibility are all shaped by how others perceive us, not just how we perceive ourselves. But let's talk about another type of self awareness, which is understanding your own limitations and what are the risks when you don't. This is a very important and often overlooked dimension of self awareness. It's the ability to understand your own limitations. Now, when I say limitations, I don't mean that in a negative way. We all have limits. We all have areas we haven't mastered yet, skills we're still learning, experiences we haven't had. But here's where it becomes dangerous. When someone is unaware of their limitations, or worse, when they refuse to admit them, even to themselves. That's the moment self-awareness becomes delusion. And that kind of delusion, it doesn't just block growth, it can ruin careers. Let me share a real example, one I've seen happen more than once. A young, ambitious employee gets the rare chance to shadow a regional president for 3 months. Amazing opportunity. They sit in on meetings, travel with them, observe high-level discussions. They even start presenting on their behalf. Now, fantastic exposure, right? But here's where it goes wrong. Somewhere along the way, this employee starts to believe that this proximity to power is the same as having that power. They start seeing themselves at that level. Not someday, but now. So when a new role opens up, 1 or 2 levels below that president, they reject it. They say, I can't take this. I was practically doing the regional role already. But in reality, they were shadowing. They weren't responsible for the decisions. They weren't accountable for the outcomes. They were observing, not leading. That difference matters. What happened next? They waited for a role that never came. They got disengaged. Their ego outgrew their track record. And soon, they were seen as difficult, entitled, disconnected. That's how careers stall. And it all started with a lack of self-awareness about their own limitations. Why is this kind of blindness so common? Let's go deeper. This isn't just about ambition. This kind of self-deception, inflating your capabilities, believing your own hype, is much more common in emotionally driven environments or cultures where saving face is everything. In some traditional cultures and many tight knit teams, it's considered shameful to say, I don't know, or I'm not ready yet. So, what do people do? They start stretching the truth, embellishing achievements on a resume, taking credit for results they didn't deliver, using titles they haven't earned, saying I led the strategy when really they attended a few meetings. And over time, they believe their own story. That's the most dangerous part. They're not even lying anymore. They've internalized the lie. And once that happens, real development stops. Because how do you grow when you think you've already arrived? But then, why admitting limitations is a strength, not a weakness? Here's the truth: being self aware enough to say, I'm not ready for that yet, is one of the most powerful things you can do in your career. Why? Because it means you're coachable, you're grounded, you're building from a place of reality, not fantasy. The most respected professionals, the ones who actually make it to those top roles, are almost always the ones who say, I need more experience in this area. I want to shadow more before I lead. Let me take a smaller scope first and prove myself. That humility, it's not weakness, it's maturity, it's long-term thinking, and it's real leadership potential. So if you've ever caught yourself exaggerating your role, rejecting opportunities that are beneath you, or avoiding roles where you might not shine immediately, ask yourself, is this ambition or is this ego pretending to be readiness? Knowing your limitations doesn't mean limiting yourself. It means being honest about where you are, so you can build the right path to where you want to be. And trust me, that honesty is rare and respected. Now that we explored different types of self-awareness, let's agree on why self-awareness is critical for growth. Let's look at this in real terms. You could be the most technically brilliant person in the room, the one who knows every detail, who gets results, who delivers fast. But if you constantly interrupt others, struggle to accept feedback, don't realize how defensive you get in meetings, or talk over your peers when you feel threatened, then over time, people stop listening. Not because you're not smart, but because you lack awareness of how you're showing up. And this is where growth stalls. Because in the corporate world, performance doesn't equal promotion. It's not enough to be competent. You have to be coachable, collaborative, and increasingly emotionally intelligent. That's what leadership looks for. That's what teams need. And without self-awareness, we can unintentionally sabotage opportunities, relationships, even our own reputation. And when it comes to job interviews, which are the gates to career development and growth, you would be surprised to know how easily lack of self-awareness can show up in job interviews. Yes, one of the clearest places where this shows up, or doesn't, is in job interviews. And if you've ever been on the other side of the table, as a hiring manager or part of an interview panel, you'll know what I mean. Interviews are a mirror. They reflect not just what you've done, but how you see yourself, how you process feedback, and how you handle imperfection. And here's the thing: a lack of self-awareness becomes very easy to spot, very quickly. Let me walk you through a few common examples. 1. The overinflated story. You ask, tell me about a time you led a challenging project. And the answer is a superhero narrative. Everything went perfectly. They solved every issue. Everyone followed their lead. And they ended up saving the entire organization. No mistakes, no learning, no team effort. Now, is that confidence? Maybe. But more often, it's a lack of self-awareness. Because experienced interviewers aren't just listening for achievements. They're listening for humility, for reflection, for real-world awareness. So if your answer skips over failure, conflict, or lessons learned, you're not showing strength. You're showing blind spots. 2. Blaming others every time. Another red flag: candidates who constantly externalize blame. I didn't succeed because my manager didn't support me. That project failed because the team wasn't aligned. I left because the company wasn't ready for innovation. Look, sometimes these things are true, but if every setback is someone else's fault, that's not a coincidence. That's a pattern. And that pattern usually means the person has never paused to ask, what was my role in this outcome? That's self awareness, the ability to see your own contribution, even in a flawed environment. 3. Lack of specificity. Now, this one is subtle, but powerful. When you ask a candidate to describe their strengths or development areas, and they give generic answers like, I'm a perfectionist, I care too much, I just work hard. That's not vulnerability, that's avoidance. That's a sign they haven't spent enough time reflecting on their actual areas for growth. The most impressive candidates, they can say things like, I've learned that I sometimes jump to conclusions under pressure, and I'm working on slowing down my decision making. Or, I used to avoid conflict, but I realized that clear feedback is part of leadership. That's real. That's mature. That's someone who's doing the work. And number 4, entitlement without track record. We also see candidates who expect high-ranking roles, big titles, fast-track promotions, without the track record to back it up. And again, ambition is good. But entitlement without self-awareness? That's a recipe for disappointment, misalignment, and tension if they join the team. It's the same mindset we talked about earlier. The employee who shadowed a senior leader and now believes they should skip 3 levels. In interviews, this comes out in how they talk about past roles. I wasn't challenged. I deserved more. I'm looking for a senior strategic position now. But when you ask for examples, there's no depth. And again, the issue isn't capability, it's the gap between how they see themselves and how others see them. So why does this matter? Because at the end of the day, hiring isn't just about your CV. It's about fit, growth potential, and whether you can evolve inside the role. And someone who's self-aware, who can own their journey, acknowledge their growth areas, and stay grounded, is easier to develop, easier to manage, and easier to trust. So yes, you can have all the qualifications, but if you walk into the interview room lacking self-awareness, your potential will be hard to see and easy to pass on. That is to say that how you speak about yourself in an interview says more than your resume ever can. Self-awareness isn't about being self-critical. It's about being honest, reflective, and humble enough to say, I'm still learning, but I'm willing and I'm aware. And that mindset, that's what opens doors, not just to jobs, but to real growth. Now let's flip it. What does a lack of self-awareness actually look like? Here are a few real-world examples. 1. Overestimating your contribution. Ever worked with someone who constantly says, I carried the whole project, but no one else agrees? They genuinely believe it, but they're blind to how others carried the weight, or worse, how their behavior created bottlenecks. 2. Unintended intimidation. Some leaders think they're being firm or assertive, but to the team, they come across as controlling or unapproachable. No one speaks up. Ideas get filtered. Innovation dies quietly. 3. Feedback. Avoidance. People who dodge feedback, justify everything, or get overly defensive, they stop learning. Why? Because they're protecting their ego instead of building awareness. 4. Emotional blind spots. Maybe it's anger, anxiety, or insecurity, and it leaks into how emails are written, how people are spoken to, how decisions are made. These things are visible to others, but invisible to the person themselves. And here's the hard part: no one tells you. In the corporate world, most people won't give you honest feedback unless there's psychological safety or unless you create that space. So you keep going, unaware that your own behavior is the ceiling above your growth. Now let's flip the lens again. When self awareness is high, everything changes. You become the kind of person people trust because you show emotional maturity. You take ownership. You listen with the intent to learn, not just to reply. You don't panic when you make a mistake. You reflect. You don't need to dominate a meeting to feel heard. You ask better questions. You notice your triggers. You know your impact. That's powerful because the higher you go in any organization, the less feedback you get and the more self leadership is expected. So if you can master self awareness early, you're already ahead. You're already learning how to grow from within. All right, let's get practical. Here are 6 ways to start building self awareness in your daily corporate life. 1. Ask for feedback and really listen. Ask your peers, direct reports, mentors, what's one thing I do that's helping the team and one thing I should work on? Don't defend, don't justify, just listen. 2. Pay attention to your reactions. Notice what triggers you in meetings. Who makes you feel insecure? What kind of feedback upsets you? Why? Your reactions reveal more about you than about them. 3. Reflect weekly. At the end of each week, ask yourself, what went well? Where did I overreact? What would I do differently? 5 minutes of reflection can shift your mindset more than reading 10 leadership books. 4. Watch yourself, literally. Record yourself presenting, or just watch how you speak in meetings. Tone, speed, body language. It's eye-opening. 5. Notice patterns in how people respond to you. If you always feel misunderstood, isolated, or skipped over, don't just blame others. Pause and ask, what am I doing that might be creating this dynamic? 6. Practice emotional regulation. Self-awareness starts with emotional awareness. Take a breath. Pause before reacting. Respond with intention. These aren't just good habits. They're professional assets. Let me leave you with this. Your success is not just about how hard you work. It's about how clearly you see yourself. Because the version of you that lands the job is not the same version that sustains leadership. You need to evolve. And self-awareness is the engine of that evolution. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have all the answers. But if you're honest with yourself, open to feedback, and willing to grow, you're already on the right track. So ask yourself, what don't I see yet? What would change if I did? That's where growth begins. Thanks for being part of this session. Let's continue growing by first learning to understand ourselves. Thank you.